versus this is a zero premium plan. So now if it was me and I hear the word zero cost, that means there are no costs. So then you go to the doctor, and next thing you know, there's a $50 copayment. And wait a minute, I thought I was in a zero cost plan.
Yes.
That one different word between cost and premium makes a big difference. So, there's a lot to learn. And, I'll, as we talk about Medicare Advantage, I'm just going to give a live example that has just happened the other day on Friday morning, matter of fact. We did our in-person seminar at the Stony Brook Grill in North Branch, New Jersey here. And we had about 18 people. And I did my whole presentation. And out of the, let's say, 15 other people, we had 11 of them people said they wanted to meet one-to-one. And one couple was, they met with me right afterwards. We did talk. It's very important. And turns out that they just enrolled 6 months ago. Their agent enrolled them both in a Medicare Advantage plan. And when I saw their file, I said to myself, curious why they're in a Medicare Advantage plan from day one. And I called them and I spoke to them, and they told me that their agent at that time told them that this was the best plan for them and that they should not enroll in original Medicare. And I explained to him why that he said that. And it unfortunately has to do how, as an agent, we get paid. Wasn't the best plan for them. And they were still in their 12-month trial rate, which means that if you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan and you decide that within the first 12 months, as long as you have not changed plans, you have this right to go back to original Medicare. So I was able to do a Zoom call with them right away on Friday morning. We were able to enroll them, get them out of the Medicare Advantage plan, get them enrolled in the Medigap plans, the Medicare supplemental plans, because Part A and B only cover that 80%. So you need that Medigap plan to pick up the remaining 20%. And then I explained the difference to them between a Plan G and a Plan N. And the cost difference was about $50 a month between Plan G and Plan N. And the big difference with Plan N is the $20 co-payments. Every time you go see the doctor, there's a $50 co-payment if you go to the emergency room, but that gets waived if you're admitted. And then the Part B excess charges. If you go to a doctor who does not take Medicare assignment, they can balance bill you an extra 15%. The percentage of doctors in the United States that take Medicare assignment is over 99%. So I don't see that being a big concern here in the metropolitan area. So I told them about that. And after explaining everything and, having my dad be a financial planner and working with actuaries my whole life, they understand asset allocation. So they understood that $50 savings because I explained to them, that $600 savings divided by $20, for example, the number is 30. And they said, what is that? I go, are you going to go see a doctor 30 times in a year? And of course, they said no. So what we did then, we took that $50 and we wrote them both cancer, heart attack, stroke policies. And we took that $50 and that paid for a $25,000 premium for the cancer policy. So then they only had to pay $50 for the $25,000 heart attack, stroke policy. So they got $50,000 worth of benefits for $50.
Wow.
And they were just like, no one ever explained any of this. And if we never went to your in-person seminar, we would have never known. And so that's the advantage of doing these things like we're doing today, talking about everything, educating.
See, that's what happened to me, Stephen. And first of all, the guy only offered me one policy. You represent a lot of companies. So people will have at least two choices. Whereas when I went with my first agent, he showed me one plan and I could tell it was being done out of laziness. Mm-hmm. It was like, get it over with. But Stephen, you've got the toughest job. And the reason why is you deal with people who are a lot of them are on fixed incomes.
Yep.
And they go month to month. And their medical is the most expensive thing that they have.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you deal with an older demographic, and a lot of them, you really have to break it down when you're explaining to them. Nothing against their mental capabilities, but when you get older, you sometimes you don't understand. You've got the toughest job.
Yep, but we love it. It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun, helping these families like I did at the seminar. our in-person seminar has been wonderful. We have met so many great families, and Judith does her thing and gives out the books and care packages, what you get. And we've made so many friends and helped so many families already since we started doing that. And again, as I have a slide in my presentation that says, only you know your budget and your health concerns. Only you know that. So there's not one specific plan I can say to you, you need to enroll in this plan. When we do our needs analysis, we're going to determine, hey, this could be a good fit for you. And I think I'm going to recommend that you consider this. And, that's what we do. And I said, as you know, I'm not just your advisor today. I want to be your advisor for life.
You can tell how a person runs their business, especially when it comes to, taking care of their clients. Stephen and his wife have, I call them promotional material. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've got my back scratcher right next to me. I've got my fan right next to me. I'm wearing my hat. But let me tell you something that I have never seen. Every single promotional item they do is top notch. He doesn't skimp on anything. So if that's how he runs his business, imagine how he's going to take care of you.
And we appreciate that, and had a scenario about 2 hours ago, a woman in California. She was given some wrong information regarding the Medicare Advantage plan. And so she was concerned. She called me up. She was concerned that some of her doctors were not in network. So I went right on the website while she's on the phone with me, and we went through each doctor to reconfirm that they were in the plan. This way, because she had gotten some wrong information to the doctor, she had called the office and they said, oh, we were not in network. But I went on the site with her and found, okay, doctor's in network. Here's her ID number. Here's a telephone number. And, she's over the age of 80. So she was getting a little confused. So I made sure we went through all 4 of her doctors. They're in network. Here's the telephone numbers, and give them a call. So you can set up the appointments. If you have any problems, call me back. I'll get on the phone with you and we'll set up the appointments. So you know what? You just have to go that little extra for people sometimes.
You know what, Stephen? God, you always bring up things that remind me of what I have gone through. And this is an example. I wanted to stay with a certain network because I really liked my orthopedic surgeon. And, you got to choose who your provider is going to be. My main doctor. And when I told him I needed a referral, because I went with Advantage, I said, I need a referral. And they went, well, that doctor's not in our group. And I said, yes, he is. Here it is right here. My agent showed me. And they said, well, we have our own group. Now, how would I have known that?
You wouldn't.
And so I ended up with not being able to use the orthopedic surgeon that I wanted because my agent didn't do his job.
Yeah, and I'll go back to this woman this afternoon. It was about a year ago. She came to me, and she was an original Medicare Part A and Part B, and she's 80, I think. And she's never had a Medigap plan this entire time. She's always only had Part A and Part B. And that 20% exposure has just been out there for 15 years. And thank God she never had to incur a large medical expenditure, because she would have been responsible for 20%. And she only came to me because her brother said, you need to call him because you need to change. You need to get into a Medicare Advantage plan because we need to limit your exposure. So that's where you're able to help her and go through a plan in California that was going to have all her doctors, meet her medications, and reduce that 20% exposure because she was told that she didn't need it. All these 15 years went by and she didn't. She's very fortunate, very fortunate.
Stephen, tell everybody how you charge.
We don't charge. Our service is for free. We are here to educate. I am compensated by the insurance carriers. So when we enroll you in a plan, we work off 100% commission. So that is one of the best things working with an independent agent. I am licensed with 25 different carriers, and we're going to review the various carriers in your area and have a conversation about which carrier we think is going to work best for you. And so,
Stephen, you just brought up California. I love sharing these things that you and I do behind the scenes. So California is our number one market. I mean, it is our show. The numbers in California are insane. And somehow it came up in the conversation that we're looking to start. We have an opening in California. And I did not know Stephen handles California.
yes,
And
we do.
we were able to put something together. So we now do a California show each month. We do the western part of the United States, and I want to say, which also includes Florida. We do a show like that. But I really wanted to, because California is our jewel. And I'm so blessed to have Stephen in such an important area, because it's a whole nother animal there, isn't it?
It's heavily regulated state. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yes.
So, have to be diplomatic. So yeah, it's very, very important that seniors understand enrolling in Medicare at 65 and the timing of not just enrolling in your original Medicare or maybe Medicare Advantage, but something that we talk about all the time on this program is the ancillary products, be it cancer, heart attack, stroke, recovery care, home care, the things we talk about to build that umbrella of protection for you. Because in California, as we talked about, heavily regulated, and those products, unfortunately, are not available after the age of 65 in California. And it varies by state, but in California, we need to start the education at least 6 months in advance. 6 months before you're turning 65, we want to have all these conversations and have everything in place. So when 65 does come, you have the right protection and the right plan.
When we get a question from TikTok, it's not like YouTube where they give us a name, where they're from. So I don't know where this is an attorney, and he's saying, I was going to listen for about 5 minutes. He's an estate planning attorney. And he said, I was going to listen to, I specialize in elder law. And I just want to tell you, your expert is so right on. And I will be giving him a call next week to set something up for my clients. Wow.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. So we don't run, they don't see the screen. So let's give people your phone number and your website address.
Sure. Well, the easiest way for that person to contact me directly is the work cell, which is 908-268-2356. And the website for the company is www.fromme.com. And there is a contact form on the website now, so they can get in contact directly with us, as well as we have all of our previously recorded podcasts now on the website. So everybody can go back and look at our podcasts, read our services, read our 5-star Google reviews. So yeah, that would be great. Also, they can go on the website and request a copy of our book. Not the new one yet, but the old one.
So, and I want to also tell everybody, tomorrow at 5:25 Eastern time, we are going to be doing our East Coast show. Covers all Florida, all the East Coast, tomorrow at 5:25 Eastern time, same station. And Stephen, we are so lucky to have you. I can't wait to see what my new policy is going to look like for 2027.
It's going to be the best.
I actually can't wait to go get my care package.
You got that right.
Thank you, Stephen. We'll see you tomorrow, bro.
All right. Take care. Have a great night. Thanks.
That's Stephen from, folks, I'm telling you, you've got to have an agent you can trust Stephen Fromm I am telling you, he's the best. And we're so lucky to have him. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week, same time, same station, with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.